They accused me of stealing a kid's iPod out there one time at the luau.
Did you?
No, dude, this little kid, he won like I don't know if it was a skate contest or whatever, some type of drawing. I wish I could remember who the little kid was.
I remember this
because
dude.
yeah,
it's all coming back.
I wish that I could remember who the little kid was because I know he probably grew up and is probably like a friend of mine now because you know how that like the age gap when you're young seems like super but when you're older now like we're all like whatever. But I got accused and what's his face's dad worked out there, the one that did blackface a couple years ago, Josiah.
Yeah.
That guy.
He's a good boy. Off into the woods. Never seen him again. But every once in a while, when I'm out there turning a wrench and that distributor cap falls and hits the ground, it reminds me of my sweet boy. Yeah, what y'all been up to? Andrew, welcome. New show, new roster of guests.
Hell yeah.
Andrew's from the old show and the old roster of guests, but you might not know
him.
So
is Joey.
And obviously, so am I.
Woo!
But yeah, thanks. He's not going to be able to stay for the whole thing because he hopes to have sexual intercourse with his wife this evening.
Bitch.
That's fine. We all have sex with our wives, dude.
I don't.
Joey's not married. I'm looking over at the audio and I see
nothing.
Like a huge boom blowout on. I can't tell if it's your mic.
It's probably where I went woo.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was the
no more woo.
Hi, Ric Flair.
No, woo all you want.
That was good.
My levels are low.
Your pH levels are low.
I gotta speak. Thank God. I gotta speak right into it.
Well, I'm feeling a little loose.
I am loose.
My ass is wet. I'm excited.
I'm feeling a little harmonic.
What?
Like the orchestra.
Oh, okay.
The Philharmonic.
I thought you were saying demonic.
The demonic orchestra. All
That's
orchestras.
Cool that I can see that you're in frame. That's
all music is satanic. Do you agree? All music, because counting, Satan, right? Math. Think about keeping beats, doing dances, sexual intercourse, black people, Satan. Okay? I watched a video on TikTok the other day about how really syncopated beats and basically what they call the African style of rhythm, which is all popular music today. Like it is something we kind of stole from black culture, years and years ago. We didn't do syncopated beats. It wasn't really a thing in Western music. You got a lot of like pan flutes and shit like that. We weren't a very percussive group of people until we heard what they were shaking down there, shaking them, and then big fucking
Are maracas
steel
like
drums.
Spanish?
I think they're from Morocco, which is in Africa. So read a book.
I don't read.
And I was not going to say that.
No, you know what's hilarious is I thought he was right. When he just called me out, I was like, yeah, they're definitely, wait a minute.
No, they're from
Morocco? Maybe that's probably not even why they're called that.
Nope. I'm about to Google it, bitch.
Yeah, I thought it was. I thought that's where they came from. Africa.
I thought they're using a lot of Latin American musics. They usually hold two of them at once.
Motherfucker, I'm aware of how maracas work, dude. But I told you I'm loose tonight.
I don't think.
I think your fucking bird quit, dude. And that's why you're picking a fight about maracas. Like, talk to me like I'm silly. Look at him.
I was agreeing with you that they are African.
He said, sometimes you use two of them. I know.
No, they hold two in one hand. I'm just saying, I think it's cool. Why do you take that as a dig in you? Insecure, dude.
Why is he getting
Are y'all still
Look at him.
Are you Googling?
Yes, I am.
Hey, pull that up,
J-Mo.
J-Mo.
I'm getting soured.
It says something about being fucking Brazilian.
That makes sense because
South
of the Latin
America,
music.
yep.
But where did they get the name maracas? It's
Well,
probably
they're actually called tamaracas or some shit. Hang on.
two maracas. Yeah, two maracas.
Yeah, they're
I'm centered up, dude.
they're from Brazil.
You want to hit a
Chile and Brazil and Puerto Rico and West Africa.
And West.
That's the last little fucking country.
Hell yeah, dude.
And West Africa.
I love that.
Well, a lot of, just as the Spanish influenced Mexico and a good portion of South America, like so did African cultures, because they were the first like freed slave colonies were like in the Caribbean and shit like that, you know.
Yeah.
And then also there's just straight up black people in South America
They're
that
actually,
probably came there before Europeans.
I mean, they're musical in nature, but it says here that they were actually originally made for divination.
Divination?
Yes, rattles
like telling
divination.
Fortunes?
That's what it says.
Hell yeah.
I mean, Wikipedia, trust it about as far as you can fucking
absolutely.
edit it, but
I think Wikipedia is a decent general source. Like if you just need to know a basic. Yeah. But, you know, I don't know. I wouldn't trust it as far
Back
as
to your point, though, about music being satanic.
Yeah, I was watching a
I agree. Also, too, I've noticed that like the ones that are really about it, their music normally sucks, and the ones that are not really about it, their music's better. You ever notice that?
The ones that aren't actually satanic.
I rewatched Lords of Chaos the other day, and I'm not shitting on Mayhem because I love Mayhem, but like those dudes were really about like they literally burnt churches down.
Yeah,
like they were not just about the image, like they really were like about that life, and their music was not nearly as good as guys that were like, this is like Venom and like those bands would literally say like it's a show, like this is the imagery, like we're putting on a show.
A lot of people take that shit way too seriously.
Yeah, and their music was way better than the dudes that were really about it.
I got one counter argument.
Lords of Chaos is kind of like nerdy shit, really.
Evanescence.
What about Amy Lee, dude?
What's the counter argument? Against what?
That whole music's satanic.
You don't think Amy Lee's satanic?
Is she Christian?
It's a Christian band. You don't remember that? Like,
okay, so here,
let
me further my point, dude. Let me further my point here. Christian music is the most satanic of them all. Jesus doesn't rock. Jesus doesn't rock. Okay, he hates it. God hates rock music. He hates rap music. He hates gospel music. He doesn't like music. The only thing you hear in heaven is...
Isn't that music, though?
Buddy, that's the Halo theme.
It's ambient tones, dude.
Isn't humming a tune music?
Not a tune. Tones. Ambient tones.
So you don't think that, like, if Jesus was here today, he wouldn't be, like, fucking just...
I don't think any
chugging a fucking Baja
said.
Blast and listening to Limp Bizkit, dude? Like, you don't think he would be into that?
I think, listen, I don't believe anything I just said. Don't make me try to, like, have an argument as a guy... It's not even a character. I'm just representing somebody I saw on the internet. But no, I don't. With Limp Bizkit, probably. I think about it, dude. Who did Jesus go into town? He'd go into town, kick it with a group of people. He'd be like, "Yo, where are your partiers? Where are your gamblers? Your prostitutes? The juggalos?" Yeah. He's gonna be like, "Where's Fred Durst?"
Yeah, you're telling me Jesus would prefer to jerk off onto a biscuit over like...
I don't think you have to limp the biscuit to Limp Bizkit.
You don't have to do that to listen to him.
Well, if he's looking for Fred Durst,
Jesus probably wouldn't jerk off.
I just think Jesus was a lot cooler than they might depict him to be.
I think if Jesus came back, it would be...
Jesus was tight. Absolutely.
It would be like Left Behind meets Queen of the Damned. He would come back and start like a rock band.
Yeah, he'd be like, stop. Yeah. He's just, I'm going to...
With arms wide open.
And he's going to sound like Korn, you know? But
I think... Creed. Creed never called themselves a Christian rock band, but obviously the lyrics are very...
The dude, what's the dude's name?
The fuck was that? Your phone?
What was that noise?
It was his phone. Christian theme. Scott Stapp.
Yeah, Scott said that like he was about it.
Yeah, but they weren't a Christian band.
Nobody else in the band was, though. They wanted to like fucking party and like be rock stars and like, you know. Alter Bridge is pretty fucking cool.
Very
though.
Christian.
I like Alter Bridge.
But I listened to a couple bands that were expressly Christian growing up that were
big
good.
Reliant K guy, I remember that.
I liked Reliant K when I was like in 7th grade.
Dude, speaking of bands I had
the
no fucking
Sadie
clue.
Hawkins dance in my khaki pants.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Speaking of bands I had no fucking clue. I mean, I should have. Mind you. I had no fucking clue were Christian. Fucking, oh my God.
P.O.D.
No, well, I knew they were.
No,
fucking...
Devil Wears Prada, Under Oath.
1,000 Fireflies or whatever.
Owl City?
Owl City,
yes.
Owl City fucked too, dude.
I could not believe my eyes.
I love that
His
shit.
fucking beef with the Kings of Leon is hilarious.
He has a beef with Kings of Leon?
Yes, listen to his fucking albums from like...
Here's me if 10,000 Fireflies. What the fuck? Why are there so many fireflies out here?
I'm right there with you.
I can't believe my eyes.
You like?
They're trying to eat me.
Do you like Kings of Leon?
I love Kings of Leon, yeah.
Yeah.
But like he had this whole fucking beef, right? And speaking of beef, speaking of Kendrick Lamar and Drake, like they rap back and forth. Like he was trying to do that with Kings of Leon, but they had no fucking clue he even existed. Which is hilarious to me. He has like 3 songs where he's like taking digs at Kings of Leon.
Why?
Well,
how do they even know each other?
They were on the same label, is what James told me.
James Chaffins?
Chaffins, yeah. I'm pretty sure he was the one that told me that. Because I was like, dude, Owl City's like super fucking religious. He's like, oh yeah, you didn't know that? I was like, well, the only song I ever heard that I bopped to was the fucking, whatever, 1,000 Fireflies, what the fuck it's called.
I've never heard another song by them.
No, they had another one. I can't think of the name of it.
And that would only hit because it sounded like... Who did everybody think that was when it came out?
Oh, fuck, I don't know.
It sounds like somebody else. Sounds like a postal service or something almost.
Yeah, well, that's why I
but
listened
worse.
to it, yes.
Yeah.
Not as
was,
good.
Yeah,
I love the Postal
They
Service.
really did have another
Dude,
song.
I love the Postal Service until I found out they wanted to charge $300 fucking for a ticket for their reunion
Yeah,
tour.
that tour where it was the Postal Service and Death Cab was ridiculous.
Yes, they were my
They're a
bucket list fucking band. Like, if they ever get back together, I'm going to do it no matter the cost. And I found out the cost. And I said, oh, well, fuck.
I don't know if I'm going to do
it. I don't want to do it.
I don't know. I'm hitting all my bucket list bands, but I just don't do... I don't typically do arena acts. And a lot of bands that do arenas also do, like, festivals and shit, so I'll see them there sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like, I'm not going to... It was them. I kind of wanted to see Radiohead when they came around, but it was the same thing. They were playing the Palace, and it was like fucking $400 tickets. I'm like, no, dude.
Dude, I... specifically because I wanted to go to this hotel, but...
I'd pay 30.
I saw Jimmy Eat World was playing at
That
fucking...
would be cool.
Yeah, dude, Jimmy Eat World.
Jimmy Eat
boss,
World
but they
rules.
opened for Fall Out Boy, and Fall Out Boy is like so hardcore into like they know they're a click fucking band and they lean into it hard.
What do you mean a click band?
They're pretty good live though. Fall Out
The
Boy.
fuck they are.
Talking to your mic.
They're so good.
What do you mean a click band?
do you
They're
mean?
like a super
They know they're a fucking
popular group.
exactly. They're like fucking pop punk, and they know it.
Oh
and
yeah,
they cater to that shit.
yeah.
Which
Yeah.
again, make your money.
I don't
care.
think they're bad though. I don't think they're bad. Those are all great musicians. It's just not my flavor.
I don't think they're bad, but I don't think their music warrants fucking flamethrowers.
They have flamethrowers and shit out there?
Oh,
Yes,
yeah,
they have fucking
had a
flamethrower
I seen them
guitars and
last
shit.
summer, dude, and they
I'm
were
like-
they had a huge ass fucking stage show. Like
That's
big giant
crazy.
Like
moving
if you
fucking,
like pyrotechnics, it's cool as shit.
I mean,
But-
you thought you used to like fucking Slayer as much fire as
yeah.
the
That
motherfuckers.
warrants pyrotechnics. Something crazy going on, and like especially if it's
No,
a
I mean
giant
you're playing
band.
fucking dance and like
That is a big ass track, dude.
Quite
we
literally-
don't think about it that way.
Quite
but
literally, we're
No.
fucking letting off bombs.
like
in the middle of the
them
fucking
and
song.
My Chem and shit. Those are bands that are like the level of people are gonna hate to hear this, like Metallica and shit.
Oh,
They've
yeah.
sold
I mean,
a bajillion records.
You're not wrong.
They fucking have reached as big of audiences. But we fucking like gotta meet them and shit coming up, so it doesn't
Yeah.
seem like they're that.
No, yeah.
I've
We
still
feel
never
like-
met.
feel
I've
like-
seen Metallica. I've
Dude.
never met them.
You feel like the dads in the fucking 80s though that seen Metallica and shit before they were big.
well,
And then there's like a group of people that don't really give a shit about Metallica.
Yeah.
Whereas like we all grew up listening to, or not grew up listening to, but like Fall Out Boy, those types of bands. Like to us, it's like whatever, but they
Yeah.
really are. I
Hey.
agree. Like they've sold millions of fucking records. And
I don't like pyrotechnics though.
hey, Black Hole Sun.
What? Come?
I was trying to get you to say, "Won't you come?" Come on, man.
Come.
Don't you know?
Won't you come?
Yeah, they
Wash
do a lot at
away
their shows
the
though. They do too
rain.
much. I agree.
I
for
like
sure.
holding the mic. It feels like I got a big dick in my hand.
I don't,
dude. I love it.
I don't really have a whole lot of bands left on the bucket list, honestly.
I don't either. Like, dude, Jimmy Eat World, legit. Like, their mix was so much better than Fall Out Boys. Like,
they're just
their
such a
sound
talented
engineer-
band too, man. Like I
That's
don't think
true.
that people realize. I didn't realize
Yeah.
back in the day.
They were good,
I
man.
heard the middle and all their singles and was like, yeah, they're good. I liked their shit, but I never looked into them.
Yeah.
But I did a deep dive a year or two ago. Like I definitely would say they're They're probably one of like the best, most foundational, like just straight up emo bands out there, and people just don't give them enough cred.
No,
dude.
they don't, and
they're
never.
Sick.
They don't.
And they never will, man.
Dude can sing. A whole band can shred. It's great.
Well, the whole band's been together since they fucking got together.
OG lineup. Yeah, no change ups.
But like their sound engineer fucking knew what they were doing. Like it sounded full as fuck, man. Like all their songs sounded like on their tracks.
You gotta appreciate that.
Fall Out Boy like had like super low and super high, and there was no middle, so it just sounded tinny as fuck. And like they were like timing the bass with their pyrotechnic bombs and shit.
And they do, yeah.
And it was just like, you're washing everything out. What the fuck are y'all doing? It didn't sound good. That's why I was like, fuck it, I'm done.
A lot of even big bands still do not bring their own sound engineer. They just use the sound guy at the venue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the bands, you'll notice, the bands that bring them, where the engineer mixes their shit and knows what the sound they sound like.
Yeah. They had to, because they sounded fantastic.
You'll notice stuff like that for sure. I don't know if AFI does for sure, but they're always so fucking good live. It's like always pretty spot on. Devil Wears Prada. They're one,
yeah, I can see that.
because a lot of those heavy bands, one thing, it's not that they ever like sound bad live, but they're usually a different tempo live, little change ups here and there. I didn't catch that either time I saw them. I mean, it was like album quality. So I feel like they're a bring your own sound engineer type of band.
Right.
But you never know.
What kind of shit you like, man? What's your favorite band ever, dude? I don't know these things. I don't know what kind of shit you like, Andrew.
Well, my favorite band ever has to be
just band. That's the first, like, your band.
This is going to be a music-oriented show.
It sounds like
in
it.
The future, so.
Yeah. It's got to be, for me, it's got to be between Postal Service and the Decemberists. And I love Death Cab for Cutie, but
I like Death Cab better than Postal Service, but I love Postal Service.
Yeah, I love the Postal Service more than I like Death Cab, even though it's a collab. But
apt comparison, it's very much a Joy Division New Order situation to me.
Yeah,
because of the electronic element, and it goes into like a kind of like poppier genre with the stuff. With the Postal Service stuff, but I love it. I love both elements of it.
Well, anyways, favorite band of all time, Skrillex.
No.
Oh, fuck.
I wouldn't even let you say that on the show if it was true, dude.
No. So, legitimately, it's probably the Decemberists, solely because they have so many albums, and I listen to every fucking one of their songs.
I like that.
I've never had a song I didn't like from them.
Down by the Water.
Yeah, that's a fucking banger, dude.
They rule, dude.
Yeah, they are good.
A lot of people shit on them in that era of like indie music, like them.
No, that shit's fun.
Arcade Fire.
The older I
Neutral
get,
Milk.
the more I like
love
that
all
kind of
that
shit,
stuff, dude. It was just like
not that I never did like when I was younger, but like the older I get, though, I do.
Were there a lot of douchebags into that stuff at the time?
Yeah,
we're not going to name any of them that we knew by name, but there's a lot of douchebags who could be really like, oh yeah, no, you don't know the Decemberists? Yeah. It's like, first of all, hardly fucking anybody. You and Stephen Colbert for some reason. You know what I mean? You remember that? He would have them on the show. Yeah. He had them on the show a couple times. What? And Cheap Trick.
Oh,
Cheap Trick.
I do fucking
I like Cheap Trick.
I had tickets to see them, dude, next Saturday.
You're going to see Cheap Trick?
Yeah, I'm taking my mom. They're opening for Heart.
The kids are all right, dude.
I'm stoked, dude.
Didn't realize they were still fucking.
Yeah, they're playing at the Yum Center too, which I thought was fucking even wilder. That like,
they're still a huge act. It's kind of crazy.
Man. Dude, I listened to, I forget what album it was, but it was the album with Put On My fuck. Now just the fucking song
slipped on out. Put on my dick sucking shoes. Head on down to my shift at the dick sucking factory.
Put on a brand new shirt. Fucking put on my.
You gotta stop.
Best brown shoes. I can't remember, but like I listened to that song nonstop for like a month.
Yeah, Cheap Trick fucks, man.
I like a lot of stuff, man. All kinds of music, all kinds of satanic shit, dude.
It's all the devil, dude. Every bit of it, man. That's why he come out and did that.
It is. Music. You know, I had this really high moment the other day because of the state of social media. I'm sure you guys see all the same insane shit I see all the time.
Yeah.
What was the song?
I Want You to Want Me.
Oh, bang.
I want you to want me.
Yeah, that was like the introduction to my fucking...
Don't get us
like,
copy. You can't play it. You'll get us copyright struck.
I can play up to 30 seconds of it.
You can play like literally 7 seconds.
Yeah.
But everybody knows that line.
There it is.
That little shuffle beat in the beginning.
Yes, everybody
dude.
knows that shit.
I love that.
But that was like, if you think about it, that song was emo as fuck.
I look at a lot of old stuff that's like, damn, dude, this is like pretty fucking emo. I can't remember a lot of like early 90s country. To me, when people say like country's farm emo, that's what they're talking about.
Yeah.
That like
Garth Brooks,
dude. I mean,
and the light
Neon Moon, dude. A song like Neon Moon.
Neon Moon, man.
God damn it! I mixed up. I'm
Thunderstruck.
Thunderstruck.
Neon Moon.
No, Thunder Rolls, dude.
Shit.
Yeah, the Thunder Roll.
I don't think that's more
And the
an
lightning
emo song.
strikes.
What's that song about?
What?
A fight, I think.
Another love goes cold.
Yeah, or a murder. That shit rules.
I think it was a murder.
There's some station they play at work a lot that plays a lot of older country, and it's like, yeah, dude, this shit's fire. All the new pop country is ass. That shit you sent me is all fire, though.
Oh, yeah.
All the, like, newer outlaw stuff.
Yeah.
Dude, Garth Brooks, like...
There's a lot of good country out there. It's just
fucking standing around the fire or whatever, dude. Like, I was 6, 7 years old, fucking dancing my ass off.
Country people hate Garth Brooks now because he say he's a liberal.
Well, he died, too, didn't he?
Garth? No.
I think he died.
no, Garth's still alive, dude.
Garth's just...
all the people he killed died.
The night we went to see Danzig 2 years ago, Garth was playing just right down the street at... Where was it?
At
the Bengal
Stadium? Yeah, we were right next to it. Yeah.
And god damn, it was packed.
And for every
he still
20
draws
goth
a huge
kids going
crowd.
to see Danzig, there was about 1,000 cowboys going to see Garth Brooks, man.
He's got friends in low places.
That was also another one I danced my ass off to.
But
yeah,
I
like
saying that.
man.
Who the fuck died? One of those like.
Toby Keith.
Okay.
He sucked though.
Yeah, he was
like
not
no
cool.
disrespect,
I can't think
but
of any song that he sung. But he one of those like 90s.
And the Statue of Liberty is shaking her fist.
He's one of those guys.
No, you knew that.
He did all the 9/11, like after 9/11. He was the guy.
He used to do that politicized country music.
Yeah,
he turned it into like the bootlicking style.
Yeah, no, the ultra patriot bullshit.
Yeah,
and no disrespect to his Holy Spirit. You know, when wherever it may rest.
Song that was like,
excuse me,
should have been a cowboy, man.
Should have been a cowboy.
Yeah,
was that him?
Yeah,
should have learned to rope and ride.
And that is a fucking banger, dude.
That is
I
good
fucking
song.
love that shit.
But here's the thing, hey.
A lot of shitty people do make some good songs here and there.
Yeah, and all genres of music.
Yeah,
like,
and good movies. And
we love the Smiths, dude. We all know Morrissey sucks.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'll tell you what.
Real,
Hey, hear me out. Hitler could paint the fuck out of a German Shepherd, dude.
You're right.
I mean, if you like paintings of German Shepherds,
we've had this conversation. I think on the very first fucking podcast I was ever on.
We probably
which was like the third one, but brand new. Like,
oh yeah, brand new. That's one
awful fucking human being.
Yep, great music.
Great music.
Yeah,
and
that's
brand new.
How it goes, man.
Brand new would have been one of my favorite fucking bands, except for the fact that like his stories
real fucked up.
Yeah, like they were like. They were always like tipping on the fucking like scary side of like.
He's a big time raper.
Yeah,
he loved it. You could tell he was a guy that really loved to rape. But Joy Division, dude, that dude like beat on his wife and shit.
Yeah, Ian was.
But that's like one of my favorite bands of all time.
Yeah.
I think honestly why I like fucking December so much is because I fucking grew up listening to fucking like Garth Brooks telling stories and shit.
Oh yeah, country music's
like,
very storytelling.
Yes,
a lot of
I
their
love
songs.
a song that tells a fucking story.
Old Red.
Old Red. Man.
Old Red's a good one, dude.
That's a good one.
Blake Shelton.
Yeah,
that's a good one, dude. This motherfucker trained him a police
to this day,
a prison hound.
That's the drunkest I've ever been at a concert. Is Blake Shelton.
Blake Shelton.
I puked all over myself. I puked all over my mom's rose bush.
Dude,
when
I
we
was
got home, like,
telling a buddy at work. There's a
Budweiser's off.
Kid that's 18, 18 that works there. Kind of a country dude, welds and shit. He was talking about he wants to go to like a metal show or a rock show, but he's like, "Oh, dude, the fucking mosh pit. It's scary." I was like, "Dude, I've been to every type of show there is. Like, here's one thing that happens. The only place you're going to be at risk of, like, the only place you're going to get hit is in the mosh pit. You're not going to get in a random fist fight at a rock show. Like, you're going to be fine. Yeah. And if you fall in the pit, somebody's going to help pick you up. Like, it's not going to be bad.
If
you go to a country show, you're going to get in a fist fight before you even get in the fucking gate, dude. It's the only genre of music where they tailgate the show beforehand. Yeah. Is at country music shows.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of bands you've seen more than once, one of the best shows as well as one of the worst shows ever was Brand New. When we went to see them at
Moorhead College.
And Jesse was fucked.
Trash drunk.
Just absolutely
trash drunk. Couldn't even tell it was them playing first couple songs.
Yeah, made it through like 2 songs before he was just like incoherent.
And it was like seating, like stadium seating.
Yeah.
It sucked.
We sat in fucking like foldable chairs. But
way in the back.
Then we watched him on his last tour before he went into obscurity because, you know, he was...
Because of the rapes.
Because he was raping. But that, of course, Modest Mouse was touring with him then, and Modest Mouse
really would have been a good show.
But like
Brand New, them and they didn't play "Float On," dude.
And they did. That was the last one they played.
They didn't play it when I seen them, dude.
They
played Dashboard though, which was cool. That like made up for it because that's like my favorite Modest Mouse song. But they didn't play "Float On," dude, and I was like really fucking.
There was a point in my life where, because I knew Modest Mouse before I knew Brand New, but there was a point where like. Modest Mouse was one of my favorite bands.
Yeah, they were good.
I like them a lot. There's a lot of good stuff from that era. Another underrated band, I think they were kind of a one-hit. They would have been qualified as a one-hit wonder, but they did have like 6 or 7 albums. Yep. Franz Ferdinand.
Yeah, Franz Ferdinand was good. Andy Little got me into that.
They're kind of like, they have a very post-punk. A lot of their shit's similar to Interpol.
What song was popular?
They did Take Me Out. Bum, 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 ba-da-da-da-da. I say, don't you know? You say, I don't know. I want you to take me out. Yeah.
I did not ever. I've never known.
That's a good song.
That band's name.
Yeah, just here a few years ago, they started coming up on like a Joy Division playlist, and I was like, well, that's kind of weird. But yeah, they were in that era. They were like kind of the last wave of the Joy Division-esque post-punk bands with, like I said, Interpol, who I also love. Interpol's
cool. Interpol that's one of those like bands that I wouldn't rate as my like top favorite, but they're definitely they stay on my playlist.
Yeah, I'd put them in my top favorite now, even though I didn't. I wish I'd listened to them more back in the day. I wish I could say I liked them before they were cool, but I didn't. But dude, Stella is a diver. Yeah. She always has been.
There's like the whole fucking elitism shit when it comes to things like music just cracks me up, dude. There's
a lot of gatekeepers, man.
Nothing makes a genre immediately gayer than having a bunch of gatekeepers. That's what happened to like punk rock in the mid 2000s and made it suck, and everybody kind of went over to like metalcore and shit like that.
Yeah.
Was you got all these gatekeepy people who got real weird about how big pop punk was getting.
Mm-hmm.
And it really and I think all that's kind of gone now, but I see it more in metal than anything now. All your little metal subgenres. Noah's really into us.
Shout out Noah, dude.
Shout out Noah.
We love you.
Dude, Noah got me into a lot of shit, though, when I was younger. He introduced me to Mayhem when I was in high school.
Now, when Noah points out...
This dude blew his fucking head off, and they put the picture on the album art. He's like, you're going to love it. And
now, but when Noah
like
points
15,
out
16,
like a poser type of person, and he's like, "This is why we gatekeep," I'm like, "Okay, I do get it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do get what you're saying. It's still not chill. I don't know what. I cannot get the setting fixed back on this camera to where it just starts a new recording on its own. But we're good.
But yeah, he does make some valid points sometimes.
Yeah, like and I love him, and he can gatekeep his stuff all he wants.
Have you seen him? He do whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah, dude,
bro.
Ain't nobody getting past that gate, dude.
No,
he's a big motherfucker.
That's a big gate, bro.
Rip my toilet paper holder.
Oh yeah, he did. He ripped it right off the wall.
Off the fucking wall. Yeah, the holes are still there.
Well, we recorded a podcast back in the day that night.
We did, yeah.
He was on that one.
Yeah, he was.
And then he said, "Hey, go take a piss." Disappeared for about 45 minutes.
We hear him retching his fucking soul through his vomit.
Dude. We heard what sounded like that boulder from Indiana Jones falling through the ceiling, and it was him gripping onto the toilet paper holder. And the thing is, he didn't fall down with it. He just pulled it out on the wall.
Yep. Yeah, Noah fucking rules, dude. I love that guy.
Well, what a life. What a, raised in rural Kentucky by a preacher father, and then he moved to Japan and got into like,
dude,
a fucking.
He wears a ski mask now, and a fucking trench coat,
super
with fucking
gnarly metal
pants.
scene. Yeah,
the
badass,
whites,
dude. Fucking so cool.
The whites are literally the only reason that I don't like generalize all Christians as shit people.
Yeah, they're cool. Well, that whole church is. I never had a bad experience at First Baptist, dude.
No, yeah, they were always very good.
They were always good to me.
Yeah.
Well, that's why, like, because youth groups and shit, I was going to family worship, and both youth pastors there were. I'm not even going to go into it on this, but both youth pastors weren't great. And that's when I started going to First
family
Baptist.
worship. Yeah, dude.
When I started going to First Baptist.
Yeah.
About 13, 14, and I stayed there until I was 16, 17.
Yeah, I won't go into that either, but yes, I agree 100% on that. I'll tell you a good story when we're done.
And off the air.
Yeah,
we have a lot of good stories. Well, I can't remember who I was talking to recently about church stuff, and they were talking about, because we were just kind of talking about like separating the church. I remember who it is, but in case they don't want it mentioned, I won't say them by name. But yeah, they were like, and I'm sure you had the same experience, bad, whatever, and you left. And I was like, no, I just kind of like left because I had a lot of other stuff going on and didn't
busy
have
on
the
Sundays,
time
dude.
to go.
A priority for me.
Yeah,
I didn't
it's
have.
Still
not. Dude, for over a year after I stopped going to youth group, Jay would pick me up once a month from the high school, and we'd go hang. We'd go get like lunch, and we'd talk about the Bible and shit.
Yeah.
And I was already like questioning at that point in time whether or not I believed in that stuff.
At that point in time.
And he was very cool about the questioning. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
There was
Jay
no
was always
point where he
very,
was like,
very
this
good
is
to
dangerous
me.
what
Yeah.
you're... And keep in mind, this is my freshman year of high school. I was like gothed out, wearing makeup and shit.
Yeah.
He'd pick me up and talk to me about Jesus and wouldn't be fucking weird about it.
Yeah, Jay's good people, man.
He'd be like, yeah, you'll have these
I always
questions,
thought a lot
pray
of
on
him
it,
too,
man. Do, whatever.
Still,
whatever.
anytime I see him, I talk to him. Always friendly. Always good dude.
But yeah, I didn't have bad experience. Now, I've had bad experience with Christians. I just didn't have a bad experience with my church that caused me to leave.
No, yeah, the same. I never had.
Yeah.
I also grew up in a Pentecostal church, though, too.
Worse.
So, yeah, a lot of
Speaking of music
talking
is
to
the devil.
snakes,
Crazy,
yeah, run across the pews and shit. And just,
you
you got me and fucking Will Crace back here, just fucking miserable.
I think the worst thing about it is...
Speaking of good peoples, though, man, his parents are... I mean, he's a good dude, but his parents are...
Oh,
pretty
yeah,
cool.
and they were at church with me, too. I grew up around
Dude,
them.
I was
They were
talking about,
great.
he grew up Pentecostal.
We were talking about that last time with
Well, I'm
Chucky
not gonna
and
say
all
it by
them.
name.
Like,
we're...
when the last time me and you hung out, we were talking about, like...
Oh, Chucky Sparks.
No, Chucky Gordon.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
There had a lot of really great people at the church when I was a kid, but I really did not enjoy going to a Pentecostal church. And then going to youth group like we all did on Wednesdays and going to First Baptist stuff. I don't know. I always had a better time going to First Baptist than I did.
They shepherded the children. And I tell you what still bothers me to this day. Fucking worship center tried to swoop in and hustle kids out of the fucking parishon of First Baptist.
Yeah.
They knew that Jay took his time and got to know us and what we liked. And subsequently, he was renting skate ramps for us. He was having Christian rock bands come and play. He was doing everything in his power to, like, meet us where we were at.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, it's working for them. Let's fucking copy it exactly. Do it times 10 because all the rich people go to this church and we have more money.
Well, I remember when they fucking got that half pipe out there, right?
Yeah, for the luau and started doing big skate comps and shit.
Yeah, well, I went out there. When they first got the half pipe, it was like a big thing. We're going to hang out on the skate area for an hour and then go inside and have worship or whatever. And I skated for the hour and then I fucking deuced whenever everybody went inside.
Oh yeah, well they lost me day one.
What the fuck his name was, the youth pastor there, but
I can't remember who. Dickie, child molester.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't gonna bring it up, but yes.
Well, I'll say it, child molester.
Who?
I'll put a name on it. This dude Dickie, he was banging like chicks in high school. He was the youth minister out there at the time.
Gross.
He's long gone now.
Dickie.
Now, even the guy after that, I didn't dislike him as a person. But it just wasn't for me, dude. I went in one sermon. Like, the first one at the luau, I was like, what are they doing? I remember going, this isn't church. Because they start talking about, like, how those of us, because there were, high schoolers there that were presumably almost 18 or 18. Oh, remember to vote with your Bible and all this shit. And I'm like, what the fuck are they talking about voting in church for?
Yeah.
Fuck this. And then Laura, ex-girlfriend, drugged me out there because that was her church once my senior year. So I'd already been sans church for like 3 or 4 years at this point. And let me tell you what, dude, I showed off. I showed out. I showed my ass.
He showed the whole thing.
Literally.
This was the year. Well, you guys remember how big of a fucking big gay lib I used to be for Obama. And this was election year.
Hell yeah, dude.
And he was like
Shout
talking
out Obama.
shit in youth group about Obama and like anti-crism and all this shit. And I was like, I'm out of here. And I left. And Laura was like, you embarrassed me in front of
the
butchers. Anyway, let's get off of...
No, one more thing before we go. They accused me of stealing a kid's fucking iPod out there one time at the luau.
Did you?
No, dude, this little kid, he won like a fucking... I don't know if it was a skate contest or whatever, some type of fucking drawing. I wish I could remember who the little kid was.
I remember this,
because,
dude. It's all coming back.
I wish that I could remember who the little kid was because I know he probably grew up and is probably like a friend of mine now because you know how that the age gap when you're young seems like super but when you're older now, like we're all like whatever. But I got accused, and what's his face's fucking dad worked out there, the one that did blackface a couple years ago, Josiah Nichols. Fuck that guy. Anyways, his fucking dad brought me back in the office and was like,
no, accusing me questioned about that.
And I'm like, no. And the little kid was like, because he had skated with us before, like his parents had dropped him off at the church parking lot or the skate park. I can't remember, but like he knew me, and he was like, no, like that's Joey. Like they let us skate with him and like all those guys. Like he didn't do it. Like it was and his dad,
somebody else had picked you out.
Yeah, and his dad was like, just like, nah, I'm pretty sure you did. And I'm like, nah, I didn't fucking do nothing. And I left. I called my mom and I was like, come pick me up, dude. This church sucks.
Blaming me for stuff again.
And I haven't been back there since, man. Aside from like a funeral or something. Or I won't go, dude. They treat me like shit, and they wonder why people don't.
I will say, I know who's running the show out there now, and I do like those people.
They are, and that's another.
Dude, I just have to say, like Pastor Pat, when I was a real young kid, when they first opened up, because I remember when, like, I don't know if you guys even remember this, because I was like 4, but when they were in the
he's not the bad guy in this story. He was pushed by this kid's father.
Well, no, not the Nichols is a whole other. Like, I'm not getting that.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved all of them except for Josiah. Dude.
Yeah, Josiah sucks.
But
I like
Pastor Pat.
Probably still does.
Pastor Pat legitimately had a good like moral compass, and he helped me.
Oh yeah. He was a very nice guy.
Start that, but then like you like he would have this awesome sermon, then you'd go to your
Pat
fucking youth pastor, and then
dad.
It was like
that was his uncle. Pat. That was Pat. That was Carson's dad.
Yeah, Carson's dad. Yeah.
No, Pastor Pat didn't do youth.
No. Yeah, he was like the main.
He was the
preacher.
Pastor.
Yeah.
Guy in charge.
And dude, and Carson rules too. I always liked Carson. I went to school with him. I would consider Carson a friend. He's always been very good to me.
I know a lot of people.
I knew Carson
when
he was still a Pittsburgh fan,
cool,
and he loves the Bengals now, and I think that's funny.
I just think the blackface
wasn't. Josiah with the blackface, not cool. Carson always been a
don't know what he's up to these days. Maybe he's not doing blackface and he's cool.
Man, maybe
loved his sister growing up. She was cool. You know,
I didn't know her, man.
She was a good friend of ours for a long time.
Yeah, that's one of the
hot dogs.
We got wild tonight. This has been a wild show.
Fucking I was supposed to.
You're supposed to leave it.
This place sucks.
Well, just now.
12:01. Let me see what our run time is. I mean, you're free. I ain't
it's
gonna hold
about
you.
45 minutes because we started about 15 after.
Yeah, we're about 41 minutes. So yeah, you don't have to stay for the whole thing. We're gonna go an hour.
I'll hang out a little bit longer.
We'll hang out. Hell yeah.
Yeah, if you just go an hour, I'll stay that long.
Probably
about as long as I got to hold in my bladder anyway. So.
The con man got back to me. The dude, the comedian, is gonna come on the show.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully, we can set up a recording with him soon. Yeah, we're getting the episodes out now, baby. We're getting them churning.
Yeah, we're wild, dude. Yeah,
churning
this has been
like
a good
butter.
one. I've really enjoyed this.
Yeah, dude.
It's fun.
It's nice to have a guest.
Nice to.
Well, it's nice.
Old
bullshit with
Andre.
you, man. I feel like. Well,
This is our year.
I'm
not even knocking the wood because I'm doing it. This is our year, Andrew. I've seen you more times this year than I have at any point in my life. Since we were like 13.
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah. So.
Not sure if I could. You know that song?
Are you okay?
Yeah,
Mighty Mighty Boss Stones, Knock on Wood.
I'm not saying that we don't. I'm saying, are you okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Look, dude, me and you live 6 seconds from each other and still don't get to hang out that often.
That's because you work fucking.
We work opposite
ass
schedules,
crack
dude.
of dawn to the ass crack of dawn.
No, I got a great schedule, dude. It's just inconvenient for doing anything other than working and sleeping.
Yeah, I was about to say, "I be truthful, bitch."
I love my schedule.
Same though, because I work 12 to 9, so
I do 3:30 in the afternoon to 1:30 at night.
What between the two of you, yours is more rough because I did that shit.
Yeah, it is rough.
And there is not. Like,
it's
you
cool
wake up,
to
you go to
not,
work,
yeah.
you go home, go to sleep.
It's cool to not have to get up early, or if I do, like if I get off at 9, and maybe I go home and just go to bed. I could get up at 8 in the morning and have coffee and watch TV and just kind of relax, chill before work. Like, that's fine. But sometimes, like tonight, I get up at 9. Now I'm going to do this shit until whenever. Then I'm going to go home and get a couple hours of sleep. And I'm still going to want to get up at, like, 9 or 10 to, like, drink coffee and, like, acclimate. And then I got to get ready and then go back to work. Like, 12-9 is rough, but God damn, waking up at 6 a.m. to be at work at 7 can suck my dick, dude. I hate that shit.
You're good. I'm just adjusting as you go because I know you want to look at Andrew while you're talking to him. So
I mean, it just makes sense to look next to me.
To have eye contact.
But yeah, I mean, I feel the same way about my schedule, though.
Yeah, I just hate getting up early, dude.
I can
just fucking
3:30 in the
man.
afternoon. I can sleep in as late as I want. But 1:30 is not that late. If I force myself to go to bed and, like, fall asleep by 3, I can get up at, like, 9 if I have to. And go to like an appointment or something like that.
I don't know, man.
So
I'm just saying.
It's inconvenient for doing things with other people because nobody's awake when I get off.
Put up a little shake up.
No, you grab your brush and put on a little makeup.
That's what it
hide your scars to fade away the shake up. Because I do the same thing.
That's right.
And then
what
you know
time
what I
do
do?
you work? God damn it! Like, what time do you get
well,
up?
Hold
what
on.
Time do you have to be at work?
I'm an engineer, like a SAS engineer, so I work whenever they need me to work. I am salary, but my typical work day is from like 9 to 5.
That's not bad.
And he's working from home a lot of the time.
Yeah, I work from home, so I wake up like 15 till, and then fucking start working.
Which is pretty sick, dude. Pretty good gig.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's cool.
I am very happy with like my work situation right now, especially because they've been extremely like forgiving when it comes to me working from home with my daughter.
Right.
Oh yeah. I mean, I like mine, dude. Like I said, it's just I got 3 days off a week though, and that's where I squeeze in all my shit.
Yeah, it sounds like to me, fucking this year you're all scheduled. Of course, I have Saturday, Sunday off, but your all schedule is like perfect for all of us to actually get together. So.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be doing shit this year.
Yeah,
we should do some concerts as a group.
It is
because you two are my 2 separate concert groups. I usually go with you and Bethany or with you and just me.
Speaking of July, baby,
we're going to Taking Back Sunday in July.
I'm so stoked for that shit.
We should all go to something together.
And see, they're pop punk too, but like I fucking love their music. Like Fall Out Boy has some good music, but honestly, between them and Panic at the Disco...
Well, no, I think Taking Back Sunday is a lot more of an emo band than a pop-punk band.
Yeah, well...
But I love them. I loved their first 3 albums. I don't know I couldn't tell you a note of a song they've done since then, so I hope they play some oldies.
I'm just so sick of being sick, man.
But yeah, we should figure something out and do a show.
That's what it is. God damn it, I fucked it up.
We need to do that for sure.
My whole point for the last like 10 minutes has been trying to get his ass singing. So this was a Music Century fucking episode, right?
Yeah.
I can do that thing, and you don't want me to do it, but sometimes I'll get in a mode where everything somebody says I'll be relating to a song in my head.
I'm doing that with you right now.
It's a very specific form of autism.
You have such
it's autism,
an amazing ability to remember fucking lyrics, like after hearing them once.
Phrases, bits of words and phrasing, something about it. Lines from movies. stuff like that sticks with you, you know.
Hell yeah.
I can do the whole monologue from the opening of American History X.
What a movie to memorize.
I believe that, dude. And that ain't got nothing to do with your autism either,
I was
buddy.
just like, what movie?
Good, yeah.
I was like, what movie in my head, what would have a monologue that had the N-word in it?
That's more of your racism showing.
He's been bordering on it on this episode.
Hell yeah, he is, dude.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Okay. Never... You probably haven't seen my x-rays, but I don't have a racist bone in my body.
He was excited about the blackface when I brought that up earlier.
He was. He got super...
Well, dude, because
he's
it was
like,
so
I've
funny.
always wanted to fucking do that. You stole that
from
son
me.
of a bitch, dude.
Well, what he's doing is a culture vulture sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because that's the sort of thing a white guy like me would do, not a white guy like him. A nice, upstanding Christian? No, listen, dude. He dressed like Kanye West and his wife dressed like Donald Trump.
I hate it.
It was fucking weird.
Yeah,
it was weird. It was the type of move where you go, there was, what was the Halloween store out of every other fucking option?
Yeah.
What are you doing? All they had was fucking black shoe polish and hair grease? God damn it.
And, dude, he didn't even have to do, he didn't have to do that.
It was bad.
Here's the thing. Yeah, dude. He could have just, worn some Yeezy slides.
And a big black hoodie.
He
and,
could have put
joggers.
on a garbage bag.
'Cause that's literally what Kanye wears, yeah. Or a garbage bag. He wears all sorts of, wild shit.
I think white people, there's a slew of black characters white people can do without doing blackface, and you'll still know who
Cub
it is.
Scouts did the garbage bag, poncho thing long before Kanye West ever did it.
Hell yeah.
We did that shit for emergency preparedness. I remember this to this
I did
day.
that
I
for
always
hot
thought it was
yoga.
cool that you did the Boy Scouts.
Dude, it was a blast.
Because I never
Eagle
did.
Scout, dude.
I would not have...
Eagle, salute.
I never did any of them.
Would not
any
have...
scout ever. And I always wanted to, but my parents never
I was
let me do it.
technically
It was
a venture
expensive, bro.
scout.
Yeah.
But that was just so I could work at camp.
It was expensive. If I didn't have,
It was.
And honestly,
hell yeah.
3 years in a row, I think, First Baptist donated the money for me to go to camp. But if I didn't have,
that's where they held everything. Didn't they do the scouts out of there? Out of First Baptist for a while?
Cub Scouts.
Cubs,
and
it was just, and Weeblos?
Yeah, Cub Scouts.
Yeah, just all the little ones.
Wolf, Bear,
up to Weeblo.
Wolf, Bear, Weeblo. Yeah, and then after Weeblos is Boy Scouts.
Boy Scouts, yeah.
Or Scouts of America now, whatever they're calling them.
Yeah, I always thought that was cool. I was like, man, that's badass. Because I
would not have
never,
any of the practical abilities I have, really. Because that's when I start really hanging out with Pete and Henry, and they were always being put to work by Jeff.
Oh, yeah.
But, of course, they saw it as work, but I was like, dude, I'm fucking learning shit.
Yeah.
Learning to build stuff like that. I ate that shit up, homie. And that's why, I was so happy to be a part of the Boy Scouts, because I actually got to be a part of, the Freeman Circle. But I also wouldn't have the fucking social skills I have, because if they force you to get out there and fucking talk to people.
Working at the camp is a big... The fucking... What do you call it? The staff of that camp was the cast of a movie about a summer camp.
It was.
They had this
literally
kid Mouse who was a super genius engineer, and Sam and his brother who worked on fucking Jeeps. They were mechanic fucking, and then all your woodworking people, and you had these two twin brothers who were scientists who knew where a secret orchid was in the fucking forest. Everybody was super smart in there.
One of the saddest moments, because Mouse was my mentor when I started working there. One of the saddest moments was when I became fucking director of handicraft, having to fire him because he would not leave an underage girl alone.
Oh, no.
Damn.
Well, you'll get that with those autistic super geniuses, because he was clearly... Well, I didn't know what autism was back then,
broke
but...
my heart. That's when
that sucks. I didn't know that.
That was my last year of leadership. I couldn't fucking do it anymore.
Yeah.
So that's when next year I went back. Yeah, next year I went back. I was there.
Were you were director when I worked there, right? Weren't you director?
I was
of
your program director. Yeah.
You were my boss.
That was the year I fired him.
Was it that year?
That was
I think it was. Wasn't it? I thought it was the next year when Bethany was working there.
No, this was Bethany never met Mouse.
She never met Mouse. Okay.
No, she met Nicole. But she never met Mouse.
I ran into Nicole, Chris, and Shay at a laser tag.
Oh, I was totally trying not to say her name too.
Who?
I'm not gonna say it now. It's already on the fucking
Nicole?
record. Yes.
Why?
Because I didn't want to drag her in.
Oh, never mind. Either way,
minor,
Boy Scouts rules. You know.
Soup.
Was she the minor?
She was the minor.
Oh, damn.
She was 16, had just turned
Still,
17.
What a wild fucking episode, dude.
Wild episode, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Well, I mean, it's not like it's the first case of a Boy Scout going after a minor, dude. Okay.
Well, I was literally about to say, Boy Scouts is great if it wasn't for all the fucking Scoutmasters.
You have to take a class when you work at that camp called Youth Protection. That's like a bunch of videos
Quite
from
literally.
the 80s that are like, I remember when my uncle invited me over to play Xbox, and he said, you know, by the way, I always take my clothes off to play Xbox. I hope that's okay.
Oh, my
that?
God. Yes, I was about to say, you basically
no.
remember that episode, like, verbatim.
And then the one
Or
where
that
he
fucking movie
goes out
verbatim.
hiking with an older kid, and he's like, let's play chimpanzees and climb this tree. And then he's like, you've never seen a
don't
chimp
wear clothes?
climb a tree with clothes on, have
Yep.
you? And he's like, I guess not. And I took all my clothes off. Next thing I know, I was sucking his dick.
I mean, it didn't end like that, but it's pretty much,
Yeah.
like, insinuated.
I took a
Like-
very similar class at rehab. They offer this as part of like a fatherhood class. There's like a 2-day, it's called something else now, but it's like youth protection, where it's like you learn all the signs of how to spot a molester or somebody being molested, you know?
Like, and again, Boy Scouts one of the best things that ever happened to me. And, like, the thought of, like, Jeff, who was a Scoutmaster, ever, like,
Well, yeah.
knowing about or participating in that,
Yeah,
like,
which you know,
would
obvious.
fucking, my world would disintegrate. Because he still is such a good dude. But, like, when that shit came out, that it was like, there was what kind of lawsuit where there's
Class action.
Class act, yeah.
Yeah,
When
because it was
class
so
action.
prevalent.
And, like, people that I worked with for fucking, 10, 12 years at camp had no fucking clue that they were, like, included in that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Yeah.
like, the thing about it that blew my mind was, like, when that class action came out, I was like, dude, we used to, all of us, including the people
We
that,
all used to get molested, and we
No,
didn't make a
shut
fuss.
I'm trying to be serious, Sam, now, come
Oh,
on.
no.
So,
No.
God damn it.
music and comedy.
The part, yeah, music and comedy. The part that blew my mind was, like, that class action came out, like, several years after I was done, working at camp. But, like, people that were part of that action, that were my dear friends, like, participated in the act of, like, making fun of the molestation. Like, because we used to say, we touched the kids in their hearts.
Oh, yeah. But we didn't know there was such a gang. It was like the Catholic Church, like the level of secrecy and hiding and moving people around.
Yeah.
And, like, people didn't know.
A lot of it was tied to that.
And if there's any reason not to include girls in the Boy Scouts, that's it, okay?
And, maybe I'm glad I didn't go, man.
But I do get the argument, because, like,
you would have been,
if you look at
you would
Girl
have been in
Scout-
our troop, you'd have had a good time.
Oh, yeah. But
Rip
if
that
you
you
look
did,
at
but-
Girl Scout merit badges, they don't offer the same programs. Like, you don't get a lot of the same practical skills, but a lot of the stuff they teach, I make it all one scouting, because, like, home ec shit is good for anybody to learn, just like learning how to start a fire is good for anybody to learn.
Well, there is a lot of, like, cooking merit badges is basically home
There's,
ec.
yeah, there's quite a few. But, there's, like, that's all they get in Girl Scouts. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of that stuff. Sewing and things,
There's
I gave
some
out a lot of
survival
merit
stuff,
badges
but
my
it's not
summer,
nearly
dude.
that bad.
Anyways, man,
You were
I
signing
thought
them
it was
blue
cool,
cards.
dude. I thought it was cool.
Oh, yeah, went off on that Boy Scout thing.
Because I never.
I wouldn't be where I am with it.
I didn't go to 4-H camp. I didn't do any kind of scout shit. I never did anything.
You weren't
honestly.
really ever at risk of being molested.
No.
We went to the church. We went to
No.
Boy Scouts. We were in all
Yeah,
the
you
areas.
guys were in all the
Shares,
areas.
I
like,
was
yeah.
dodging
the only
dicks
place-
my whole childhood.
Yeah,
dude.
same here. The only place where I ever went to as a kid that made me, like, leery, and I was maybe 8 years old, was fucking sheriff's camp.
Oh, the free fucking
Sheriff's
poor
camp.
kids camp. Yeah,
I was a poor kid.
dude.
Again,
Yeah, I went
everybody,
2
like,
years in a row.
I was always sponsored for these camps.
There
and
was
shit.
Sheriff's Camp and State Troopers Camp. I think
Sheriff's
State
Camp was the
Troopers
one
Camp
that-
was like a little nicer for like a little bit of older kids. But yeah, dude, that place sucked.
I don't remember who
Bed
it was.
bugs,
Well, I don't-
definitely child molesters.
I don't remember who it
Fuck
was,
me,
but
But it was a free summer camp.
there was
for a
there
week.
was yeah, it was
in
and
the middle of fucking nowhere.
well, sheriff's when I went to it, it was a day camp. I didn't stay anywhere.
No, we
But
stayed. They
there
had bunks and everything.
Well,
I went with Brad Ellis. Me
I was
and
gonna
him
say I
2
was a
years in
couple
a row.
years before you, but when I was in sheriff camp, it was the day camp. They took over for
where'd you go?
Family Ties or some shit like that. But like,
where'd they have it?
It was at one of the schools, I want to say.
Oh, damn, that's weird. Oh, this was an actual summer
Cartmel.
camp.
I think it was at Cartmel. But did y'all still have it was like Friday where you went to the pool, community pool?
That was when we took our swimming whatever.
It was like you learned and then you had like the rest of the day
to swim. Yeah. Because they had the pool at the camp when I was there, and we couldn't touch it the whole week, and it was a bummer. We couldn't do any of the activities because they didn't have enough staff.
Rang bells when I was that young was like one of the fucking people running the sheriff's camp was like sitting there waiting while we fucking changed. And at the time, they didn't have stalls in the fucking changing room.
No.
It was just showers and a couple curtains that were fucked up. And they sat there and watched us while we fucking changed. I'm like, what the fuck are you in here for? I remember like wearing my underwear under my fucking swimwear.
You know what memory I had from that? I was at the camp, and it was like day one, and I just remember hearing about how cool State Troopers Camp was compared to that place from other kids. They were like, yeah, because they had an archery range over there. They had a rifle range. They had all kinds of camp shit. We just had like literally all this place was like a mess hall, a fucking bunkhouse, a pool, and a playground that had like some basketball courts and shit you could play on.
I wonder what sheriff's camp's like now with that fucking Breonna Taylor fucking
oof, Jesus Christ.
Oh, no.
But, dude, I remember there was these kids sitting, these like 3 redneck kids and these 3 black like urban kids who had come, I guess had come from 2, I'm guessing not the same town. But they were all sitting there like bitching about how bad the camp sucked. And I was like sitting near them and I was like, yeah, you know, I heard State Troopers Camp has archery. And they all looked at me, and one of the black kids went, man, shut the fuck up, fat ass. None of us are talking to you. And I just remember that being like, for years, that was like the most hurt I had ever been in my life. This was like 3rd grade. I think that's when I started. Well, one other person called me fat in my youth, and that was what propelled me to lose weight. And do you know who it was? Your sister.
Which one?
Katrina.
No, she did.
Yeah, I was like standing in her way in Mr. Hersey's class one day, and she was like, move, fat ass.
Are you for real?
Yeah. Which she probably doesn't even remember because like me and her were cool in high school and shit. Yeah. So, yeah, like I don't know if she even remembers ever calling me fat, but I didn't know I was fat until that moment. I didn't.
That's when my round world became flat.
That's when I looked down and I was like, what the fuck? I really didn't. It didn't even like comprehend. I would look at other fat people and be like, yeah.
That's because you weren't. I've seen pictures.
I was a child too. Yeah. I was just a chubby kid.
You just weren't. You literally hadn't like grown taller to fill in.
And that's really all that happened. Yeah, I went on a ramen noodle diet, but what really happened was I was like 5 foot even, and I weighed like 120 pounds. And then over the summer between 7th grade and 8th grade, I got up to like 5'8" and 5'9", something like that. Like almost as tall as I am.
Yeah,
now.
I remember literally not
stayed the same weight.
Believing when we started hanging out, like first started hanging out, your 8th grade year, and I was coming over to what the fuck was his name's house? Your mom's
Alan.
Yeah,
Alan's house.
I remember
quite a few times over at Alan.
Like, I saw pictures of him when he was younger, and I was like, I remember that kid. And you were in your kitchen. This is when you told me about the ramen noodle diet. I said, oh, I remember that kid. I was like, I wonder what happened to him. He's like, that's me.
Yeah.
I was like, what do you mean that's you? He said, I lost all the weight. I was like, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
And I was like, how the fuck did you lose all that weight? He said, I just ate ramen noodles for like 3 years.
I did eat nothing but ramen noodles.
The same fucking person.
But I do think, in retrospect, I really just elongated because I stayed the same weight.
Because that kid, I remember that kid being like, I mean, I wasn't tall at the time. I was maybe like 5'2", but I remember that kid being like half my fucking height when
I remember you looked drastically fucking different. Like, I didn't see you.
That's what I'm saying.
So, like, when we were kids,
I didn't know it was him.
We were like really fucking young because I think I moved into town in like 98. 98. So it was about 6. I remember Angie coming by the house quite a bit. I remember you obviously I remember your brother being like in a car seat in the back.
Yeah.
You know, a fucking infant. And I can remember you liked fucking Pokemon and like all the goofy shit I liked. So like anytime Angie would stop to talk to Mom was like the only interaction me and Jordan would have.
Pokemon cards was like the one thing that stuck out was because he was playing Pokemon or some shit at the library, and I was there with Pete, and Henry was there, and everybody was trading Pokemon cards. But that's where like I remember like the like 5 minutes of being with you before like we
when
hung
I
out.
was fat.
Yeah. And it's weird because like that's how I remembered you for so long. I still don't think of
you as the same kid because you didn't act the same.
No,
like in public at least.
Yeah.
You didn't act the same that you acted when we got
you guys lived
to be
on Gillock, didn't you?
When I was really young. Yeah.
Right there
when
on
you
the
first
bend.
moved to town?
Yeah,
that's
on
probably
the
where
bend,
I was
you lived in
yeah.
Gillock. And I remember my mom was like, and I don't know how the fuck I remember this, dude, because I was like fucking 6 years old, dude. But it was my first time getting beat up. Imagine that. My mom was like, we're going to go to Angie's. We're going to hang out with Jordan and shit. And I was like, oh, fuck yeah, cool. So we get to your all's house there. You stay in that apartment complex down there on Gillock. No, you didn't. So we get there, dude. And
he got beat up.
No, he was like, yo, man, we're going to go out back, dude. We're going to fucking play on this jungle gym and shit.
Oh, yeah.
And
Sick
jungle
gym.
And I was like, hell yeah. And it had like swings and shit, you know. And I remember, I think I don't remember what I was doing, like, specifically, but the last thing I remembered was Justin Hunt showing up, dude. And wadding me up like a ball, dude. Sliding my ass through a fucking mud puddle, man, and just pummeling me, dude. Yeah.
It's so funny that
the
Justin
fuck out of me.
beat you up so much.
But we also...
Because we all beat the fuck out of
I
Justin.
know, and it's so
it was clearly, you want to talk about like generational trauma?
Yeah.
Like that was all generational trauma within like 3 years of each other.
But with like the full circle though is like, I remember like coming in the house, dude, and like I come in your mom,
hit this
and I was like, fuck, I'm good.
I'm still floating off of fucking chiefing on it.
And I'm fucking covered in mud, dude. My mom's like, what the fuck? And you know, your mom's like going ape shit. And you're like,
I was also covered in mud.
Trying to be cool. Yeah, because like everybody was like, we're all fucking around playing the mud and shit, but I specifically remember Justin being a little more rough with me.
Yeah, he did too much. He did too much.
He did a lot of shit. So, but it's funny because years later, there was very seldom times I got to see Jordan between then and like fucking middle school because of that age gap. Because I'm so much young, well, not so much younger than you guys, but like anytime you're going into a school, you guys were already leaving that city school.
Yep.
It's like when I was in middle school, I had 1 year with you in school.
Yeah.
You was in 8th grade, and you were already in high school.
Yep.
So like the age gaps what kind of fucked it up. But I remember meeting Jordan again in middle school, and did not even like. It's just wild that
I told you,
fat boy, wait till tomorrow.
My man's like skinny now, dude, and he looks like a woman. And I was like, this fucking badass, dude. And
dude, I find pictures from my 8th grade trip to Washington so funny because it was like when I first got skinny and I was like, like into skating and shit, and I just had everything piled together. Had on like knee-high socks, some big-ass skate shoes, a shirt that said "Tough Guys Wear Pink," a CKY
you wore
beanie.
Until you were like fucking 17 years old.
Nah,
you had that shirt.
Cassie took that shirt when I moved out, so that was.
Are you sure?
1,000%.
I remember you wearing that bitch all the way till like.
Boy's always been my idol, man.
And then, but dude, I had like a million bracelets on and shit.
We all
posing in front of a fucking graves at Arlington.
I used to wear those fucking. This was before like skinny jeans were a thing, but I used to wear those fucking jeans that were like stovepipe jeans, and then I wore fucking soccer socks with shin guards and shit because I skated and beat the hell out of my shins.
Yeah, you were already in high school by the time I got in middle school, wasn't you?
I was, I was.
He's
a
year ahead of me, so he would have been.
And Henry was in your grade though, right?
Yeah.
And then so was Justin, but he failed.
Yeah.
So I spent thanks.
I didn't make him fail.
Spent way more fucking time with him than I had to.
I told y'all the story about why I stopped beating up on Justin, right?
Because of his dad?
Trying to pay me to beat him up.
Yeah.
Damn.
That shit broke my heart. I was like, dude, are you for real, Rodney?
Hey, guess what, though? As an
that's
adult...
your fucking son. You should be, like, trying to beat my ass.
I'm not saying it was good, like,
was
morally,
money in my
but
hand.
Justin can fight now. Now, will his hands survive contact with somebody else's
break
face?
His bones 7 times in one punch.
I saw him light this dude up in jail when we were locked up together, and I roused him up. This is like my, what is it? Like one of my great shames is that like in jail I did cable up a lot of people to like, because there's not a lot going on in there, and I didn't want to fight anybody.
Trying to get entertainment.
So you know, but this guy did owe him an e-cig, and I watched him get 2, and he said like, "Hey, I'm not. Can I give you one tomorrow, dude? Because I owe one of these out, some excuse." And Justin was like, "Yeah, cool," and I was like, that dude's treating you like a bitch, dude. He thinks he can fuck you over and give some other fucking loser an e-cig when he owes you first? Nah, dude, go fight him. Long story short, he went out there, beat the shit out of him, took the e-cig, came back in the pod and said, broke my fucking hand, idiot.
I love him. Goddamn, I love him.
But I did,
dude.
you know me, dude. Mosh pit medic. I fucking I tore some fucking sheets. I folded up some fucking newspaper or some like paper out of books. Made a nice little fucking splint. I made him little finger splints for his 2 fucking fingers, and then wrapped the rest of his hand and wrist up. Yeah. And he wore that the whole time
dude.
we were in
He
there.
had to have something wrong with his bones,
was the best,
man.
dude.
He's got hollow bones like a bird. He's probably capable of flight.
It was weird, too, because like,
if he went to fucking fly out that bitch in the yard, he probably could have.
As much as he
got such
fucked
good air
with me, though, like,
probably.
He never let anybody else fuck with me. And it's even weird, too, like, as an adult today, I really feel like if I was in some type of stupid or shitty situation that I shouldn't be in, the first person I would probably call is Justin.
If you called him up and you were like,
down here to the Circle K, dude,
quick
this dude's
gang
trying to
fight.
fuck with me, he'd bring his fucking dad, he'd bring fucking half of Carolyn with him, and
you don't want Rodney and Jim to show up.
I love Justin. I will always, but he made me tough too, though, bro, because like he really did fuck with me a lot. And
why has this show been so fucking full of child molesters?
Something about the way we grew up. We were all a bunch of weirdos.
You know what I'm talking about.
We were all into rough shit, fighting all the time. I remember when there was supposed to be this big redneck versus
I remember that too.
Skater fight, and Andrew pulled out a knife. No, this was
that was me.
Nick Isaacs.
Nick Isaacs was fucking with you.
And he
was trying to drive you. He was trying to drive you down to the parking lot there next to where JCTC used to be.
Yeah. That was the day of our first ever show.
It was.
We were on our way to play our first ever show.
It was. And this motherfucker was trying to get Jordan down there to fuck him up, and he had like 3 dudes in the
and Andrew, who was weighed about 120 pounds at the time, he took his fucking shirt off. Whatever. He started screaming. He had a knife on him. I remember that.
I remember.
Yeah, dude.
Right before
I'll kill you, bitch. Get out of that fucking
right
car.
before I blacked out. I remember right before I blacked out, I fucking whipped out my knife. I said, "Step your fat ass out. We'll see what fucking happens." And then after that, I don't remember what happened.
Andrew's.
I remember.
I remember
he pulled out his knife and he said,
"Oh, I was gonna stab him."
He said, "If you ever test me again, I'll cut your fucking leg off." And then
that's not what,
years later. You know what happened?
He cut his own leg off.
Well, the doctors cut his leg off after he got it smashed in a machine, acting like an idiot. But anyways,
I also,
God damn.
So
I also remember one time we had drama club. Real quick, we had drama club practice during the summer or something, or like during a break. And I went over to an unnamed girlfriend's house to eat a little puss, get a hand job. And it took a little longer, and I got back to the shit late. And I remember I told all you guys that Nick had driven past me and, like, thrown a McDonald's sandwich at me and, like, called me a pussy or something. And you guys were so mad for, like, weeks, dude. I remember you were mad, and, like, John and Peter and people in drama were mad about it. And then, I'm pretty sure I didn't tell you guys for, like, well over a year that didn't really happen.
I mean, it was a believable story, though. So
he was doing shit like that all the time. But now I got caught up in a little bit of punani.
So I threw the aim at him.
No, what were you gonna say about Derek?
It's nice that
Derek,
we're all three.
I can't remember
here,
right.
You know?
Alive.
I love that.
Alive and
love that.
marginally healthy.
Yeah. Well, I feel good.
No.
Didn't know that I would now.
No.
I feel nice.
It's over, man.
When I thought I would die.
Go ahead.
I had a whole verse about how I thought I was going to die of heroin.
Name, but it was Derek something. But
Reeves.
He was
Chauvin.
Older than
Derek Chauvin.
No, he's older than my brother. He worked at the fucking girls' prison here in Madison, and he was on that fucking black dude.
Will Hoyt.
No.
Derek Will Hoyt.
No.
Black dude. What'd he do to you?
Well, he fucking... I was skating... This was before they had a skate park or anything, but I was just skating around the fucking Point Park or whatever, and motherfucker tried... like snatching my backpack off while I was skating past the basketball court, and my brother was on his way down there to play
with that
basketball
guy,
with him, and all the other kids, I mean, they were like they were probably adults at the time. I was 16, 17, and they had to have been 18, but he was coming on his way down there. That's why I was hanging out down there, and I was just skating around the fucking thing, and I remember this motherfucker like snatching it off and just being like saying something super like threatening. So I skated my ass home, got a fucking Bowie knife, and came back down.
Fuck yeah.
That was kind of our,
he did.
That was our move back in high school.
Yeah, he did.
Dude, thank God nobody ever did accost us, because we would be in prison right now. We carried knives all through high school, bats, giant wrenches.
I've always known you guys to have an arsenal of fucking weapons.
And there was no doubt in my mind that if Nick had gotten out of that car that day.
I mean, this is
but we weren't carrying utility knives back then, dude.
Well, this, if you notice, it's a pretty long blade.
Yeah, that would fuck somebody.
That would do the trick.
Yeah.
Now, that time I pulled a knife out on Nick at the football game, it was a Boy Scout knife.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
But if we had ever gotten close enough, there's no doubt in my mind that we'd be locked up.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Because I would have stabbed now I wouldn't.
I would have
unless it was a last resort in
After
self-defense.
After that first punch, it's over. I would have stabbed.
Well, my thought was always, okay, if they punch me, I'm going to attempt to stab them up in the bicep, because that's going to incapacitate them immediately. And then I don't have to kill them. I don't want to stab anywhere in here. But once you start stabbing, buddy, you're going to get a taste for blood, and you're just going to go crazy. That's why stabbing victims always have like an inordinate amount of stab wounds. It's always like more than 20, when really all you need is 1 or 2.
I legitimately blacked out when like I got rage, like drunk or whatever the fuck you call it, man. I would black out, red out, whatever you call it.
You got that adrenaline fever, dude. It's more than a rush.
He did that a lot. That was his move.
He would flip all the time, dude.
His fucking signature move, dude.
He was so mad back in the day.
Damn, dude. I remember one time I pulled up to the bank to skate, and like as soon as I come around the corner by the big fucking clock, I just see that fucking skateboard just flying across the parking lot. And Andrew just fucking screaming. I literally just wanted to turn and go fucking back home, dude. I was like, oh man, Andrew Johnson's here today. God damn it, dude.
My kid just texted me. It's midnight.
Huh?
My kid just texted me. It's 12:30.
She texted you.
Well, ground her, dude. What do you want?
Well, I just don't know. She's usually not awake this late at her mom's house.
She's telling you to go to sleep, saying, "Dad, it's midnight."
But that was awesome.
She knows better than that.
I vividly remember that, like just seeing that board go across and you just fucking screaming and shit.
Dude,
and I was like, oh no, man, Andrew's skating today. Fuck.
I got fucking scars on my shin, not from like hitting with a fucking board, but from like snapping boards and shit over my neck.
Grind Kings, you bro.
I remember that.
I do remember that. Yeah. Fucking
Wasn't they Grind King? They had the flame base.
Yeah.
And they were like, the fucking deal was like you couldn't break them. Like the hangers wouldn't break. And you fucking broke them. Yeah.
I think like my favorite.
That's goat fucking status, dude. That's fucking goat status.
What's more representative of Andrew's anger problem than anything is that at one point in time, he found a deal on eBay for like a box of Chinese flip phones because he would constantly get mad and break his flip phone in half. And at one point in time, he had like a box of fucking 15 of these things that he got on eBay. He was like, oh, they're Chinese. You can program them for whatever cell towers you want over here.
Just take a fucking SIM card out
and throw
it in a new phone.
Which we didn't even know about SIM cards yet back then, but he was already building quantum computers that would jerk you off. He had the highest def porn before the shit even existed.
Would jerk me off.
He had VR porn in 2008. Tell me how this motherfucker
had cool shit, because I can remember going. Was you on? Was
almost
it
everything I had.
Fifth Street.
Yeah. But you did. You did because you were mad. You would get mad at the phones, and logically,
because I would get mad.
In your head, you told me because we talked. You're like, think about it though. I'm gonna get mad and break them. So having a few laying around that are dirt cheap. And you also sold it, too, because at the time, phones weren't shit. All flip phones were the same bullshit. You barely had chocolates and envies and that kind of shit out yet. It was in that era, and you're like, so this is... Cause I ended up ordering one. I got one of the same little Chinese phones. It lasted me a while. But they would always lose service or something weird would happen, and you... Fuck!
Yeah, I don't remember, like, the fucking layout of your house or nothing. But I can remember going over there when I was young with Dustin.
Oh, I was downstairs then.
And you always had like the coolest fucking shit though. I mean, like you just had shit that was like,
Well, that was probably my orange room.
Whatever,
That was probably the orange room.
DVDs or VHS or whatever shit. I mean, you just always had a lot of fucking cool shit, And me and you wasn't like fucking super.
My kid, who is 10, mind you. And I took her to Hot Topic last time she was here.
So
she's like
old.
into Hot Topic and shit now. And I remember when the first Hot Topic opened around here, and it was like a big deal.
Did she say, "Dad"?
And it was fucking different.
You ever heard about the Hot Topic?
She did. Before Christmas, she was like, "And I want you to go to this store at the mall. Have you heard of it? It's called Hot Topic." But anyway,
and that like warmed his heart, dude.
She had some stuff she wanted me to buy her, and she messaged me to ask if I had bought it yet, for like because her birthday's coming up.
Oh,
and I was like, "Why?" And she said, "Because I am a scene kid, and I need some emo scene kids stuff
That is the most Jordan fucking thing I think your kids could say.
But I wouldn't have ever called it. I hated the word emo back in the day. I hated all that shit.
Yeah.
I hated all that shit.
That's wild.
You used to fucking hate being called scene. You used to hate being called emo.
But I was.
100%. But, like, I remember fucking Henry getting that emu fucking meme or whatever. Which, by the way, memes were just fucking poorly photo-edited pictures on top of shitty backgrounds. But emu and fucking, like, putting it in your locker and in your backpack and shit, and you getting livid.
Yeah, but you know what's fucked up is he got the emo haircut before I did.
Oh, dude, he was emo.
We both had long hair, and then he got that haircut.
Yeah, he was emo before you. And he got mad because,
I was more into the goth shit, the makeup.
Yeah.
The fucking with the lights on.
Just the fucking light shining through you like a fucking...
How does
I like
feel?
everybody better as adults now.
Me too, man.
And I think everybody likes me better as an adult now. And
we all did. I liked
it. Like,
I loved you guys when we were kids, and I'm glad we were all whoever we were.
We all
then,
did,
but
though.
we're all so much better
and we
now.
all sucked each other. Like that's how.
You had anger problems. I was. I don't know what the fuck was wrong with me back in the day, but something was severely wrong.
I had a bowl
with
cut.
He was
bad.
We all had our issues. Henry was a spaz back in the day, dude, and he couldn't leave the pussy alone.
No.
All he did, he was a pussy hound.
Oh, yeah. Man.
He's a pussy hound.
And it's weird because everybody we really skated with, everybody we really grew up with, I really still keep in somewhat touch with. Like I still talk to, like to some extent. I think the only one that I probably don't talk to is Dustin. I think that's it. Like he's probably the only.
Almost all of my friends.
He's doing a lot better. Like he's doing a lot.
Man, me and him probably haven't spoken since that day he come to my house and punched me in the face over Matt Derman.
I didn't talk to him.
That was like my senior. That was his senior year, maybe something like that.
When he moved to Tennessee, because he got in trouble when he moved to Tennessee, and I mean he was using, I don't know what he was using, I can't remember, but he was using
some kind of derg. The
last time I talked to him before that, like 10, 12 years, was he stole his little brother's, who was like my little brother because I didn't have a little brother, but he stole Cable's Nintendo DS or whatever it was, maybe even the one before that, Advanced
SP.
But, yeah, stole it and sold it. And I was like, that's the last fucking straw. You don't steal from your little brother to fucking sell shit. So I didn't talk to him forever. And, of course, he went to jail and found out all this dumb shit he did to go to jail. But he went to jail and he got out, and he's been sober since. And he's got 2 kids by his now wife, and then she had a kid, so he's got 3 kids. And he's doing a lot better. He's a trim carpenter, and he showed me some of his work, and he's a fantastic trim carpenter.
Which
is a hard fucking trade to have.
Do you think
to have skills at?
The final straw and the straw that broke the camel's back are like the same straw, like the same phrase? Like, do you think? No, this is serious. Because I'm interested in
that's so funny. I fucking hate it.
I'm interested in the origins of phrases, right? We talk about this all the time. Is the final straw just a even shorter turn of phrase drawn from the straw that broke the camel's back? Because that one's pretty obvious. That's a metaphorical little turn of phrase that makes sense on its own. You added too much, and eventually the last straw, because camels are a beast of burden. Everybody knows that. Motherfucker won't fit through the eye of a needle, I'll tell you that. For sure it won't.
I got a beast of burden for you, buddy.
You hear me, Elon Musk? Anyway, he's not going to heaven. So I wonder if the final straw just comes from that. Because you think about this, 2 birds with 1 stone. At what point in history was there an overpopulation of birds but a shortage of stones? You would think, I'd say now, and all through time, we've had more rocks on this planet than we've had birds. We got a lot of rocks. And when you run out of rocks, take a boulder, break it. Turns into more rocks.
But I think that's the final countdown.
Yeah, that's the final straw for sure.
That's the final straw that broke the camel's back. This place sucks. Thanks for listening. You got anything you want to promote?
This right here, dude.
I want to promote our Lord and Savior, Jesus
As
Christ.
always. Shut the fuck up.
That's it.
As always, love each other, man.
Love you guys.
This is like, I'm going to do that penis microphone thing.
Do it.
Slung and got penis water all over me.